Welcome back to another episode of Raw Thoughts, Me, Myself, and AI, the podcast where I strip back things to the bare bones and look at why I've made decisions in relationships, in life, where they've stemmed from childhood up until adulthood. Today's episode 9, Addicted to Chaos, Why Men Wreck the Very Things They Pray For. Men ask for love, loyalty, and peace, and then destroy it the second it shows up. We beg for blessings and then burn them down. The real question is why? Let's look at the high of the chase. Why does winning her feel better than keeping her? Conquest, thrill, validation. The thrill of the chase is always everything. It's always what gives you purpose in the moment. When you achieve the trophy or the win or whatever it is, that thrill dies down until the next one. So it's always going to feel that hit, that dopamine fix when you're chasing and you're completing the mission or whatever it may be. That's why gaming is so popular. Because when you complete the mission, you get that high, that sense of being a winner. In sports, it's all about winning. Taking part isn't part of it. Like if you're competing, then taking part is part of it. But if you're just losing, but you're not competing, then there's no fun, there's no thrill there. Why do men crave pursuit more than peace? Because the pursuit you can kind of control. You're the games master in the pursuit. You, especially when it comes to men and women want the man to dominate and take control. And in this scenario, it will be you because you're the games master. You dictate what happens, when it happens, if it happens. So, and then when it's peace, it's normally on their terms. And that's when it becomes a problem for men because to obtain peace, you have to tick all of their boxes. To obtain the pursuit, you're creating the boxes to be ticked. It's a difficult one. I see both sides of it, but it's the high of the chase is it really is that. It really is. It's a drug. Why does desire end once the chase does? All right, so there's two ways of looking at this. Uh, you've all heard the relationship term of when they're putting on that relationship weight. The desire ends when the chase does. It goes both ways. You let yourself go. You relax a little. You you're not. They're not making as much effort, and I think that's the key thing. Effort all round, whether that's physically, mentally, just doing things in the relationship. The desire then decreases. That's why you see a lot of marriages, the unsuccessful ones, is because of effort, lack of it anyway. And the successful ones they're always trying to do something, whether it's bi-weekly date nights. It's just keeping the buzz in the relationship, and that's why most time the desire ends once the chase does. Fear of stability. Why does consistency feel like boredom to damage men? Chaos, routine, craving danger. That craving danger is crazy because you kind of need the good with the bad, and the good is the boredom, and the bad is the chaos. And if you're in a relationship that you're bored in, you you are the hero, but you stay long enough to be the villain. And if you're damaged, and it depends what your damage is, chaos would normally be a normal thing for you. You either create the chaos and just watch and let it burn around you, or you're part of the chaos and you don't know how to handle it. So then you create more chaos. So and it becomes a routine in terms of just a cycle, and it's normal for you. And then every relationship you're in, and that's pretty much been me. Every relationship I've been in, it gets to a certain point, and then crave that danger, and then it's like, why'd you do it? And you're like, you don't know. There's no reason, but there is a reason. There's many reasons, but you haven't found them because you haven't looked inside yourself, and you need to start looking inside yourself, because the main person in all of this is always going to be you. It doesn't matter how many relationships you have. The relationship is with you, so you need to figure that part out. Why do we create storms when the sky is finally clear? Because we live in England, man. If your mindset is England, then you always need a bit of rain to break up your day. And I'm not saying that in a way of the weather. You create storms because of your trauma, which becomes normal. So then you're used to being around thunder and lightning. And that chaos theory works better for you because there's a lot more going on, and it waters your trauma, so it feeds it, which is what you're used to. And if you're feeding your trauma, it's normal for you because it's learned behavior. Whereas if you're going against your trauma, it's a new thing and you're unsure. So these sunny skies and these heat waves in England, you're like, no, this ain't it. As much as you want it, it's not it because you're not used to it. And why does calm feel suspicious? Because you're waiting for the storm. You're used to the storm, and then you wait for it. You know it's coming. So as soon as it's calm, you're like, something's going to mess this up, and you're just waiting. And that's not a way to live. That's not a mindset to have. I'm a very pessimistic person. I speak to a lot of optimistic people. I'm like, why is this your mindset versus why is mine wrong to you? You can't live it like you can't live life that way. You can't look at life that way. But then when problems occur, you're the one that's more upset than I am, because I kind of envisioned this to happen. But that's people for you. All right. Punishing the good. Why do men push away women who actually love them? Mistrust, sabotage, rejection. Like, we fear we won't be good enough. We're inadequate for them. Now, boys play childish games and fake games and when they're kids. Women usually play real life games, tea parties, doctors and nurses, like all of these type of games. And then we grow up and we start playing video games, and they're growing up doing sewing kits and doing all these different types of arts and crafts, like actual stuff. So they grow up faster than we do. So in more time, a woman has got their shit together quicker than a man does. So when you find a woman who's got her shit together, loves you, you then find that inadequacy in you. Then you sabotage, because you're like, you talk yourself out of this good person for you, and then it builds the mistrust on their side with you because you're just not handling it right. And more time, it's just not vocal enough. You're not telling her what it is that's going through your mind, because you grew up in that cycle of sharing information is weak and blah blah blah, and you don't want to look weak to her than you already do, but you probably look weaker doing it this way. So it's sad. Like I've pushed away 2 of my relationships that were, looking back at it, probably 10 people. Like, forget looks and all that stuff, just as people. And that's no fault other than my own. And you just kind of got to look at it and look back and reflect and think, all right, the next 10 person that comes into my life, that I'm not going to make that same mistake. Why does real care feel unbearable? Does it expose our damage? Yeah, I've had someone really care, and internally I'm just like, leave me alone, like go away from me. It's not that it was exposing my damage, but it was exposing that I couldn't handle or cope with being the person I am around that person. It's like they weren't bringing out the bad in me, they were just bringing out like an anxiety in me, or they was breeding an anxiety in me, and I wasn't feeling it at all. And they cared, and I'm not doubting that they didn't care, but it just wasn't how I wanted to be cared about. And not that it's like scared isn't the word, fear isn't the word either, but it was just, I didn't like the feeling of it, and it just wasn't good for me. Why does good love feel undeserved? For me, it would be because of childhood. I never, like I've said it on the first, I never experienced love in that way. Like, I'm not saying I wasn't like loved and not like that, but I wasn't shown it firsthand. So it's hard for me to feel like I deserve it, especially like with the wrong I've done to people, or women, not even people, women, only a handful that I've been in a relationship with, and it's not even a big handful, less than one hand, and yeah, I feel at times I don't deserve it, and I speak to my boy Mike about it, and it's this karma thing, and maybe that's it. I don't really necessarily believe in karma, but it got to a point where it might actually be true. Who knows? Addiction to destruction. Why do some men only feel alive when something is burning? Adrenaline, danger, survival mode. We live for that kind of thrill. We live for action. We live for wanting to feel alive. Most people lead boring lives. So you're creating your own fun and your own problems, and then dealing with it, and then you wonder why you have these problems. It's because you created them out of boredom more time. You got a good person at home or wherever they're at, and then you go and do something out of boredom because you had time to do it. And then the problems occur, and then everything's burning, and then you're like, oh, my life. Nah, bro. Just chill. I can tell you now firsthand, doing that thing ain't worth it. It is not worth it. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth any of it. And I've been outside, inside, outside, inside. I've been all the sides. Is not worth it long term. Why do we light fires just to prove we can put them out? Now, I don't understand this question, but I'm going to answer it how I view it. You like to spark an interest and then put it away. Now, there's things as the podcast evolves that I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about this directly right now. But with what I've recently found out about myself is that it's like a dopamine fix, and it might be part of, I don't know if it's egotistical. It could be viewed as egotistical. It's definitely not narcissistic. I don't see it as that, but I always, what we say in football, test your touch. Just fizz it in, ball in the air, test your touch. See what you have. Do you still have it? Can you get in the rondo and not be in the middle? Like, I'll always test my touch just to see where I'm at. So testing your touch is basically lighting a fire in someone else's mind. And then when you've tested your touch, you're like, okay, I still got a little bit about me. You weren't really that interested. Now you gotta put it out, kick the ball out. It's gone for a throw-in, goal kick, corner, whatever it may be. But in their head, there's like, let's test what are they saying? You got to stop doing that. That creates destruction to the other person, and then you become the problem, but you're addicted to it. Why do we destroy to feel in control? Because the person who brings the house down brought the house down. They controlled the demolition of everything. You weren't inside the building when you brought it down. You was outside looking at it as it happened. That's why you feel in control. But that's not a good thing to be in control of. You don't want to destroy, you don't want to have the power to destroy someone and feel good about it. That's not never the case. And any time that, I can't sit here and say I've destroyed anyone. I have hurt people, but destroy only they could say. And majority of them, they're fully functioning people. Not majority, all of them are fully functioning people. I know this firsthand. So destroy isn't the right word, but I wouldn't destroy or demolish a relationship on purpose just to feel in control. That's not a good thing. I will end it. Like 100%, I'll end it if I don't feel like it serves me. But destroy is a different term that I don't agree with, so to speak. Self-hate in relationships. Why do men who hate themselves hate being loved? Unworthy. It goes back to the point before. It's just feeling unworthy, inadequate, to not enough for that person. And you've got to go through a lot of self-reflection and self-care to get to the other side and be like, no, I'm enough. I'm trying. They're trying with me. We are right for each other. Why does love feel like a lie when you don't believe you deserve it? Why does love feel like a lie when you don't believe you deserve it? Because you're always waiting for the shit to go wrong. And then you just be like, yes, see, I knew it. And if you live like that, you can't get anywhere. You're always at the beginning, and you're just going through the relationship, waiting for something to go wrong. And as soon as it happens, years have gone by even, and you've got nowhere because this anchor's holding you back. You've got to let that go, man. And even if it does go wrong, it goes wrong. Like, it's cool. Shit happens. But enjoy the fucking ride. Can wreckage be rebuilt? Oof. Why do men blame women for the ruins they created? Deflection, guilt, avoidance. I don't blame women for the ruins I've done. I'm more on the side of it's my fault because there would have been my actions, but it would definitely be women have allowed me to be the way I am. So not all, but some are enablers, which then allows men to be exactly what they shouldn't be. And then the accountability side of it goes. So it's easy for them men to deflect onto said woman because she's an enabler. Why do we repeat patterns instead of repairing them? Because men don't like this stuff. There's a lot of men that have hit out to me and gone, wow, bro, you're really speaking some stuff. Like, how'd you do it? It's simple. Get in front of a camera and talk. Like, you talk what's inside your head. Like, you can't be looked down on if you're only speaking like your truth. And if the people are looking down on you in it, then they're not the right people to have around you. Like, people said you shouldn't be saying this stuff on camera, and why? Like, why shouldn't I? This is about me. Like, and I'm only speaking for a percentage of men. I'm not speaking for all men. I can't speak for all men. I can only speak for a percentage that think like me, act like me, look like me. It'll be a small percentage of the population, but it'll be some people, and some people might have some takeaways from it and think, no, you know what, I can apply it. And that's enough. So that's why I'm doing it. If it's made you think, I've done my job. Why not admit wreckage is a proof of fear not freedom. Why not admit wreckage is a proof of fear, not freedom? I wouldn't say it's a proof of fear, because would I? No, if it depends. It depends. If you want to end it the right way. That's your freedom. If you've just done some fucked up shit to end it, or get caught and you don't care because that chaos is better to end that way than you just being man enough to say, look, this isn't for me. I'm stepping away. Then yeah, it's definitely fear, because you're fearing of having that hard conversation with them just to get the same freedom. So yeah, okay, yeah, I would agree with that then. But yeah, so all of this addiction to chaos is a real thing. We as men, we need to step outside of the chaos. And before you step into the chaos, look at what the consequences of said chaos can cause and why you're doing it. Why can you not just do what you want to do, but in peace? Be a bit more open, a bit more honest with your intentions, have a bit more clarity with whoever you're dealing with, and you might find a lot more peace in your life and still have the fruits of your labor that you wanted in the first place. That was another episode of Raw Thoughts, me, myself, and AI. Catch you on another episode.